Leo's insights are presented to challenge, inform, and encourage you in your quest to break free from school-based approaches to education. Building upon a foundation of unschooling, we sincerely hope these insights help you to consider how education can be truly unlimited.
The new reality of unplanned online learning brought about by the COVID-19 school closures has caused a lot of concern, particularly within the education industry. Professional educators are worried about a number of things resulting from the new education dynamics, but are especially concerned about students falling behind. The question is, how can a child be behind? Behind what exactly? Does there not have to be some standard by which to measure this position or judgment? Would this not necessitate a presumed standard child? I must admit that in all my years of involvement in education, I have yet to meet this standard child. Many years ago, an Alberta education minister addressed concern parents had regarding provincial achievement test results and said that the tests were measuring how the curriculum was doing with the child, not how well the child is doing with the curriculum. He clearly indicated the focus of education was more a matter of creating a product than encouraging student learning, which brings us back to the issue of falling behind. An article published in late January states that education advocates and international experts alike are highlighting pandemic disrupted schooling and learning losses as long-term concern that will persist even after COVID-19 wanes. Education advocates? Are these student advocates or program advocates? And international experts? Are there not competent domestic experts? And what in heaven's name is learning loss? I must admit, this is a new one on me. I imagine it's as if students are vessels into which we pour stuff called learning, knowing that students leak when the pouring is discontinued or interrupted, they lose what was poured in, right? Wow, this learning stuff must be really viscous to leak out like that. Learning loss. Perhaps I'm confused. Another shocking revelation in the article, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, better known as UNESCO, has declared that the COVID-19 pandemic school shutdown are causing major disruption in schooling. It took an international panel of advocates and experts to come up with that one. Which disruptions are they concerning about? Could it be that sending children home with their parents is having a deleterious effect on programming? Is this the learning loss education advocates and international experts are concerned about? What could possibly be the international experts' objective or desires respecting the education of all the world's children? I somehow suspect that personal development, knowledge, and independent critical thinking is not high up on that list. The following line in the article gives us a possible answer to this question. It states that the global shift to remote learning was not serving everyone equally. Equality for all. This is starting to make sense now. If everyone is equal, they are all the same. And if they're all the same, like a flock of sheep, well, they're much easier to herd or control. The next statement indicated that too many students are dropping out of school. Well, I could understand this concern if the article was making reference to learning specific skills. But not a whisper of that was made, only references to learning gaps and losses. Aside from the possibility of an unhealthy home environment, Why is there concern about students being disadvantaged by family background? Again, give this some thought. Could it be that the families have an undue influence in the children's lives if they were not sequestered in school, designed to make sure that children learn what they need to learn? And what would that include? Faith in God rather than government? Family first? Freedom? I don't think so. More likely, the unquestioned adherence to what the advocates and experts have to say and want people to believe. Greater investment in education was advanced as the antidote to all this learning leakage, something every teachers' union would applaud. Other things like learning recovery, eliminating gaps, increased student programming to include summers, priority roadmaps, layers of protective health and safety measures, supporting teachers receiving more and better training, reimagining education system, more resilient and adaptable school, education as a human right, and vaccination campaigns were also offered by UNESCO as important in advancing learning and stopping the loss. Were you able to follow all that? While there was a deep concern for students' learning gaps and losses, not one mention was ever made about academic proficiency or the provision of opportunity for children to develop individual gifts and talents. It was clear that children had to conform to the narrative delivered by the system rather than the system meeting the individual and diverse needs of children. If this is how the world sees learning, we need a better solution, and that would be more parents educating their children at home to avoid all this nonsense. Home is still the best place where children learn without needing to worry about gaps or losing anything except perhaps the opportunity to be indoctrinated in accordance with UNESCO's education advocates and international experts.
We trust you were blessed by today's presentation. For more helpful information to guide you in your home education journey, please visit educationunlimited.ca and leogaumont.com. Be sure to like us and share us on Facebook.